Hey y'all, this is Corinne with Soulshift Channeling, and I am here to bring you channel messages from the Akashic Records for Soulshift Collective. This is something that I love to do. I do it every week. If you want to learn more, you can wait till the end of the video, but I also work with people one-on-one and do individual readings. So tune in, feel free to skip to your reading. I believe we will have 5 channel messages today. So tune in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you'd like to stay for the blessing, please feel free to join me. Otherwise, I'll see you in your reading. Okay. My center with your center. Our center with all centers. Our center is the one center. I enter the realm of masters, teachers, and loved ones of Soulshift Collective. And match our hearts and minds with theirs. Let us find through joy and wisdom the ability to open the universe and ourselves to greater possibility and deeper love. Eternal Source, fill our hearts with clarity and sacred power and show us the collective's place of balance. Here's now as we become one with the whole. When we are complete, release us in love and admiration, keeping our energy raised. The records are open. Okay, loves. Let's start with group 1. Ooh. All right, we're going to do things backwards. We're going to start with group 2. All right, group 2 lovies, I feel there are 3 options for you. Let's ground them locally because you'll be able to feel with your body what they are. When we do this, there is one a little bit ahead and to the left. There's one, if you reach your right arm all the way out, a little bit behind you and to the right. And then there's one right, like immediately on your left, almost like you could reach your hand out, pick it up. It's almost like a beverage. This is the one that nourishes you the most. This is the one that nourishes you the most. It is your right hand man, even though it's on your left side. And it's something that you need to take with you no matter where you go. You hear? Something that you need to take with you no matter where you go. The great thing about water or a vessel is that you can pick it up and you can take it with you. Especially, I'm hearing there are travel mugs, there are travel containers, there are travel bottles that you can take with you. This is one you need to take with. Don't forget to fill it up along the way though, because as you take this skill, this person, this relationship with you, don't forget that you need to water it, right? You're going to sip from it constantly, and you sip from it when you need to. That's the whole point of travel water bottles, right? It's there when you need it. Which is very different from the antiquated way of doing things, which is where you just have to wait, you just have to hold it. We are moving to a more instant gratification, have it now kind of lifestyle, and it's beautiful because it templates our new natural world where our needs are mere indicators of what we're getting next right away. We don't have that much of a delay going on. But the important part until we get there is that you need to make sure to fill it up again. You need to make sure to pour into that relationship, to pour into that capacity that you have, to pour into that skill, to nourish, and to, I'm seeing like additives, like often I'll like to add rose water to my water, or orange blossom water, or salt, or lemon juice, or herbs, or energetics. You know, it's sometimes not about what you physically add or what you physically contribute, but your intention. If you ever speak to your water or tone your water, it's not always about the physical goods. It's sometimes about the energetics that you put onto it. So don't forget that that's a possibility. Now let's talk about what's right in front of you. It doesn't feel like it's straight up on, oh, actually, okay, so it's on the left side of the road, and it's this concept of like you might be moving overseas, or you might be visit something where you're in a different environment. You're going to a place where they drive on the different side of the road, right? This doesn't have to be literal driving. For some of you it may be, but it can just be a different way of doing things. It feels scary at first when we transition to a space where we take up space that historically has been meant for oncoming traffic, right? When you take up space or when you occupy space that previously was meant for others, specifically the cross between inbound and outbound traffic. If you're always, if when you stand in this space, you're always giving, or you're always, or there's always stuff, no, vice versa. When you move to an opposite lane of traffic, you're used to that being ways of receiving, ways of receiving, ways of receiving. You're used to constantly receiving in that space, right? And if it's traffic, getting out of the way, so that way others can pass. But just this concept, if you're going to a place where they drive on a different side of the road, you're going to be spending time in a space where you're usually receiving. And it's different now because you'll have the capacity. You're going in that space now. You're driving in that space. You're giving. You are forging into the world in that area. And if you're used to being in receivership, it's going to feel different and it's going to feel scary. Your nervous system is going to feel like you're on the opposite side of the road for a little bit, right? It's going to take a little bit to rewrite those neural pathways of saying like, oh my gosh, I'm on the left side of the road, danger, danger. It's like, oh no, this is how things are done here, right? We're moving to communities where we give first, and that's how you receive, instead of being in a community where you take and take and take and take. For some of you, it may be reversed, but for not all of us. A lot of it is about safety being seen. Whew, and I think that's enough for that. Sorry, y'all. The incense is kicking. Roses. Yeah. Coming up roses. It's all coming up roses. We don't even really need to talk about this thing that's like behind you on your right, because you're not tuned into that anymore. And that's the way we want it to be. Okay, y'all, this is the end of message 2. Hey, babes, this is message 1, out of order, message 1. I am seeing 3 sides of a triangle, quite literally. All about options of 3 this week. Check into the first pile, which is really the second, if that's helpful to you. Let's just get back on track. I'm seeing a triangle, 3 things. You have got 3 things in your life that are really holding you up, because I'm seeing the point of this triangle is to be able to climb on top and reach something very high, like reach the top of the Christmas tree, to reach the pinnacle, right? It's funny how we construct smaller pinnacles to reach larger ones. We might climb a ladder, which is like very triangle-ish, to reach the top of the Christmas tree. Just checking in with the foundation. If we're talking about a triangle, you've got the bottom piece. That feels pretty sturdy to me. And then this piece on my left side feels like one you need to check in with. What is it feeling? What is it that you're feeling left behind in, or left behind on? It's not something you've left, it's something that you've been left with. And it's not yours to carry anymore. There's a lot of burdens and baggage in the past. And it feels like ancestral or familial or historical data that has yet to be sleuthed through. But I don't think you need to do this anymore, because of where you're going, it's like that. It's just like that. It's so quick. It's like going through spreadsheets when you can just have something on a thumb drive that gets uploaded and like a blip, just like a super short report popped out. The point of doing it that way was really just to learn how it's done. The point of analog is to appreciate the digital, and that can't be a sweeping statement, but for our intents and purposes, that's what it's about. Understanding the analog, understanding how things work, understanding the structure of the triangle just helps give us an appreciation for the strength that it brings, for the foundation that we're standing upon when it comes to appreciating and clearing or reworking our energetic or historical past within our family or lineage. It's not so much about changing how it was or how it's been, but appreciating what has been done to get you where you are now. I mean, whoa, baby, like to fully appreciate the fruits of our labor, we have to understand how the water came to the roots, you know? Because if we're picking the fruit now in our lineage, at least, like we're not the ones who planted the seed. We're planting new seeds, right? We're planting new information that's been developed now and will continue into tomorrow, but it's different. We need to come to appreciate our past, but not get caught up into it. I'm gonna pause here for just a moment. Okay, babes, let's talk about the right side of the triangle. This feels like the side of the triangle that I see like stair steps. Like, you know, a ladder, sometimes a ladder does have the steps on both sides, but quite often it doesn't, which I just feel like is a missed opportunity personally. But I'm seeing the ladder, the side of the ladder that has steps. So this is like the path that you have come up, right? The footsteps you have taken in your journey. I feel like a couple of these feel broken, like a couple of rungs of the ladder feel like completely broken. The structural damage and integrity of the whole is dependent upon the tightness, how shored up the infrastructure between these two long pieces. But I'm also seeing that, so we're talking about a ladder, and we're talking about one, if you can picture with me, the ones that have the stair, like the steps that you step on one side and just have braces or a structural support on the other side. That's not really weight bearing or not meant to be load bearing. Often it's quite thinner, but it is enough to maintain the structural integrity. When you're going to assess your personal journey, right? And when you're going back to look at the chapters of your life, the different jobs that you've had, the different relationships you've had, I want you to go back and look at them and recognize that some of them are broken, some of them are damaged, some of them just like you can't step on that again, like some bridges have been burnt, right? And I want you to compare it to that other side of the triangle. This is comparing it to like your family ancestry, right? To your historical data, to the data beyond you personally. And for each of you, this is going to be very different. And so I want you to be honest with yourselves, but also to have deep faith and trust in yourself, because you can't fact check all of these things necessarily. When we are looking at our own lives, we have a bit of delusion naturally, because we have a certain perspective or point of view, right? We can't be completely objective looking back at our own lives and our relationships that we've had. It's just not how it goes. It's not possible, and that's okay. All right, one moment. I'm going to bring the camera down for just a minute. Okay, babes, now it feels like we're having a conversation. So let's talk about your life. You're not going to have an objective view, but I want you to trust your knowingness inside of your body. And I want you to trust the information that you're getting about your historical data, about your ancestry, because you also aren't always going to be able to fact check that, how things went, either because people aren't around or the information that you're seeking doesn't have a physical data, doesn't have physical presence. Trust what your intuition and your body tells you in this space. But basically, if you have enough structure and stability in your family lineage, and you can still make it up the ladder of your personal life, you can still function, right? If you're missing a couple of rungs, or if you can't put all your weight on one or two of those rungs, but you can still ascend, you can still climb the ladder. It's not like 5 in a row, right? It's maybe every other or something like that. I think you're going to be okay. Because the point is not to have perfection, it's to have, I hear negligence. It's just having like a negligible difference between making it or not, right? Let me say that again because it doesn't feel very clear yet. If you have a pass or fail grade, your performance is negligible beyond falling on the pass side or the fail side, right? So whether you get, if the pass fail rate, let's call it 70%, right? Whether you get an 80 or a 99 or 100, negligible. You're passing. The point at this point in time for you guys is not to have just a passing grade, it's to have perfection. And that's where you've been misgiven, where your guidance has been misgiven. It's not about perfection. And you need to allow yourself to release this perfection and this striving for perfection, because you're getting caught up, you're getting held back, and you're not moving on to bigger and better things. And I'm hearing the more times that you race up and down this ladder to try and perfect that star on the top of the Christmas tree, the more damage you're doing to the ladder itself. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just take a moment to be with that. Because I feel like a few of you came forth through the beginning opening aspect, and there's some energetic shift and realignment that happens here right now. So I want you to go ahead and just notice those rungs in the ladder on the right side of your ladder of the personal life that you've had. Those relationships that maybe feel broken, the jobs you've had that weren't perfect, whatever these rungs are for you right now, experiences with the person, drops in the bucket, right? I want you to look at the structural integrity of the ladder. Does it still stand? Can it still weight bear? A triangle is very strong. Your foundation is concrete. It's solid. It's not going anywhere. Your family lineage is on the left side. I'm hearing for a lot of you, it's stronger than you think. And then for the right side, yeah, there's some broken rungs, but you got long legs, sister. Brother, they, them, like you've got long legs. You can reach further than you think. So go ahead and take a moment. And I'm just seeing like marbles, letting marbles, losing your marbles, just letting them run out of your palm, right? For some of you, it's going to feel like losing your marbles to let these things just go and be a part of the past. But I promise you, if they need your attention again, whether they truly do or whether they're just vying for your attention and need to be put to rest or need to be corrected or, whatever, they'll come up again in the future and you'll have more information and be able to handle it way differently then. So just let it go. If you need it again, it'll come back. Okay, babes, that's the end of reading 1. Okay, babes, reading 3. 3 out of 5. You might need to bridge one to the other. 3 to 5. Okay, so the first thing I see is almost like, it looks like a raindrop, or like an old, like an udder, or like an old way that they have held water in the past. And then I see like a Santa sack, with lots of presents and gifts in it. And I see you bundling things up. It's like when you bundle things up for a move, you always are very mindful of like the container that they go into, right? If we're packing in a box with bubble, like if you know where you're transiting, if you know what your item, like, are the items going to be held with you? Are they going to be passed off to someone else, right? Like, is this a suitcase going through TSA and like getting loaded underneath the plane, or is it one that's going to be in your hand for the whole journey? Is it going to be in your hand, or is it going to be above you on the flight? Is this going to be a box that you ship across the country that USPS handles, or is it FedEx, right? And it's like all of these different avenues, all these different informations dictate how you pack things down, how carefully you pad the things that are with you, right? Yes, it depends on what the things are themselves, right? Like, you're going to pack glass differently than pillows. But I need to be paying attention to where your belongings are transiting. If this is your relationship with your significant other, what kind of things are you about to go through right now, right? Like, who's going to be around you? Is it the in-laws? Is it your own sister and your own family? Is this your community that you've known for ages and who love and adore you? Or is this kind of a dicey environment? Are you going into the face of the like, where are you transiting, right? And it doesn't have to be physical goods. It can be, but it can be your relationship. It can be your belongings if you are moving. It can be your emotions if you're going through an experience, or if you've got an experience coming up on the horizon, right? Plug it in as you need to here and allow your body's intuition to steer you the way that you need to go. But please, I'm hearing, for the love of God, don't be focusing on the things that you're packing itself. Don't be focusing on your emotions or on your relationship, don't be focusing on those things as much as you are taking information from the environment that you're about to go through, because that's really what you need to know, right? Who's going to be handling your emotions? Who's going to be handling your belongings? Who's going to be handling, padding, holding your relationship? And is that the way you want to travel? Do you want to be in those spaces? I have a feeling that you've got different options available to you. Some of them might be slower. But I caution you, and perhaps caution is not the right word, I implore you to consider the slower option, because when you are traveling on a steamer ship and your trunk is with you in your room, you have access to all of your goods throughout the trip. Whereas if you have your stuff and you choose to pack it into boxes and then you fly across the country, those things are not in your possession anymore. You've outsourced that, and that's totally fine. But what is it that you're the things that you're transferring? How delicate are they? Are they glass or are they pillows? How important are they to you? Is it okay if they get lost? What if they come back never the same, right? Like, I think it might be time to take a slower path, but to ensure the transit more solidly, closely, to have a deeper connection with the transit itself than to get there quick. Okay, I feel this is not quite yet complete, but we're going to shift gears a little bit more. The last thing I see is the ringing of the bell once you've arrived. And and to know how many different ways you can ring bells. There are bells that can be rung and never unrung, but bells that can be rung in mourning. I'm not sure for whom the bell tolls, but it tolls for you, or something like this, right? The bell tolls, like the loss or almost like a toll, like you have to pay something, right? There's that kind of ringing, and then there's jubilation, ringing that gives hope and gives, I hear Christ, that gives like the bells at the gates of heaven, right? I also hear like a steamer ship horn, like doo doo. There are whistles. Out of all the different metal instruments to make sound, you've got bells, you've got whistles, you've got so many choices available to you. All the bells and whistles, all the bells and whistles, all the bells and whistles. So what would you like? And finally landing upon, what is it that you want? If you were to have the experience on a steamer ship with all the bells and whistles, what would it be? What kind of room service would you get? Or would you get room service? Would you want to cook for yourself? Would you want a suite with a whole kitchen that's fully stocked with everything you want? Would you want a private chef? Or would you want just like very simple food that's similar to what you've had before? It can help keep your digestion correct. I mean, just really explore the options, not just for the extravagance of it, but for the practicality and the way you want to live your life. All right, that's enough. If you want to delve into this more, feel free to reach out. That's what I do. Okay. Moving on to group 4. Group 4, this is for you. All right, I see a triangle again. All of these have been just three things. Yeah, but I see a triangle again, although this one is inverted. It's like a flat on the top. How do we make this shape? No, this way. Like a down arrow. And I'm hearing weebles wobble, and they will fall down if they don't have a leg to stand on, because I'm seeing you're trying to use this thing as a table, and no, it's just not working. It is just not working. It's not working. You can't feed everyone else when you only have one leg to stand on. You can't feed everyone else when you've got only one leg to stand on. And I recognize you, friend. I recognize you. I see how ambitious you are in the world, and I also feel the hunger in your stomach. I know you want to do it all. I know you want to be heard. And I know you want to be hungry. And I recognize now that you want to be hungry, to remember what it feels like to be hungry for others to have to be hungry. But my friend, my love, my darling dear, you're not going to forget. You can be hungry whenever you want. Stop making yourself hungry. Feed yourself first. You don't have to know the pain to understand the value of the food that you're giving, right? You don't have to feel hunger in order to understand the value of the food that you're giving. You don't have to experience the pain to get the value of the healing, right? You don't stop putting yourself in this position over and over and over to prove, number one, that it can be done, right? You know that your gifts have weight. You know that your gifts have merit. You know that your contribution, whatever it is, the work that you do in the world, number one, you know that it's possible. So don't play with yourself, right? Number two, you know it's valuable. And number 3, if you keep putting yourself at a disadvantage to remind yourself that it's possible and that it's valuable, you'll never be able to actually do it, because you will be so empty that you don't have the bandwidth to give fully. You're only standing on one leg. You can't stand that long on one leg, right? Unless you're sitting down at the table. And if your table only has one leg, also can't do that either, right? So please take some time, put both feet on the ground, right? Really immerse yourself into the physical 3D form experience and build the table that you want. Build the table, build it yourself. Build the table that you need, right? Based off of the environment that you're in. And it's not to say that you can't make the table bigger later, but based on the environment that you're in, based on the reality that you're living, right? Are you in a boat? Are you in a house? Are you on a plane? The tables are going to depend on the size of the room and what you're doing, but just look at where you're at right now. Don't think about how much food's going to fit on the table, because if you have a lot of people eating and you have so much food, the table doesn't really have to be that big, right? Even if the food won't fit on the table, stop trying to make the table so big that it can carry all of the food, because it's not going to sit on there all at once. People are going to be snatching it up, right? So all you have to do is make a table for 2. You and one other person, right? You got to feed yourself. And then if you'd like to feed another, then that's fine. If you only have space to feed yourself right now, build a table for 1. That's fine. Just start eating. Okay? All right. I feel like that's it. Beautiful. All right, group 4. Let me know how it goes. Okay? I would like to hear about that. Okay. Group 5. All right, group 5. Okay. A triangle again. This is our theme of the week. That's just so nice. It's so nice to have a theme. We've had triangles or the number 3 in every reading so far, and that's how we know what to name the video. Okay. But your triangle, I see, is one that looks kind of like a pennant flag, you know, like you've got the flagpole right here, and then you've got a triangle, or just like, honestly, it feels like, you know, those you'd fold paper into triangles and then you'd flick them and you'd play like football with it. It feels like that, like almost you're holding, it feels like the long side of the triangle. So it doesn't feel, I hear balanced, but it doesn't feel equilateral. All the sides are not the same length. It feels a lot longer this way. And then this other one, and it almost, I feel you like a fidget toy fidgeting with this piece of paper or this. It feels semi-rigid, right? Whew. Okay, friends. And we know it's not balanced. You know it's not balanced. It doesn't feel right. And I see you mulling over in your brain a lot of different ways to do it, but I don't see you talking about it at all. I don't see you having conversations. And I recognize, I've recognized that you may not be heard. You haven't been heard in the past. You don't trust yourself to use your voice. That your voice may not be aligned, that you may come out squeaky or wobbly at first. I'm telling you, it's not going to work if you don't start using it. And it might be squeaky or wobbly at first, and you may not be able to trust yourself, and people may not listen to you. But you know what? The only way you're going to get better is by starting to flick that little thing, right? Practice over and over and over. And guess what? If you eventually wear it out, you'll need to build a new one, right? It's made of paper, right? If your philosophy, if your business, if your messaging, if your marketing, if your alignment, if your relationship, if it becomes worn out, you can construct a new one. And guess what? You can use the same material. It's like, I'm seeing those cootie catcher things now, right? If you have like a little cootie catcher and you do, you know, with all the words written on and all the choices. I don't know, have you guys all heard those or seen those? It's like, I think they're called cootie catchers because originally it's what the story I've been told, the sisters or the nuns would try and like go searching for lice with. So to catch cooties, like they'd get in kids' hair and they would use that to kind of catch them, or to pick them out or something. I don't know. But then, you know, there's things that I don't know, I use them in grade school, and you have options. You've got colors on the outside, and you say, and then let's say one is red, and you do RED, and you like move it 3 times. And then you've got options on the inside, and then you pick a flap. And it's like, it's kind of like the MASH game, or, you know, just like fun kid stuff. But let's say you have one of those and you've used it forever. It's so good. All your friends love it. And it just gets worn out. Like this, again, like I'm hearing relationship. It can be a relationship, but it can also be the marketing in your business, the messaging you stand behind. I mean, you're going to know what this is. I don't need to know what this is. You can always build the same one again. You can build it again. You can take the same exact information. You can improve upon it. When we wear things out and we make new versions, like we are always given the opportunity to improve upon it. That's so cool, you know, but you don't have to. You can have the same exact thing again. Okay, so coming back to the triangle football flicking thing, just start using it. Just start practicing. You don't even really have to play with anyone else, right? You just have to start doing what you do. You have to start practicing your shots, imagining where it's going to land. And over time, I'm hearing a number of things will develop. Your target, like your aim, is going to improve. I hear aerodynamics, like they're like your trick shots, right? But like the way you hit it or where you hit it is going to help the arc be in different shapes, or it's like shooting pool, you know, like you can do different trick shots, right? That really only develops when you are like feeling creative and having fun and running into difficult problems, right? So welcoming those problems as like, oh my gosh, what a different landscape to practice on now. And practice, make sure you're practicing enough that you can run into different landscapes that challenge you in a way that help you bring out your creativity. I mean, so cool. So cool. I'm hearing next. Yeah, we did talk about a couple of things. Your target, your aim, your creativity. Accuracy is kind of in there with target and aim, but your timing. And this is the one that they really want you to pay attention to, because it's all about timing. It's all about timing. And in timing comes discernment. And when you have discernment, like discernment is what gives you timing, right? Is knowing when it's the right time or not, being able to read the signs, or to have discernment in your body, or to listen to the cues really well. But either way, discernment comes before timing. And I'm hearing, you know what the really fun part about discernment is knowing when you don't have to worry about stuff. You know what I mean? Be like, it's not the time. I don't got to worry about that right now. Oh, what a liberation to put the work down. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to be able to have fun and enjoy your life and just, you know, go eat a bunch of cookies, because you don't have to cook the health food now because it's not the right time. It's cookie time. You know what I mean? All right, I'm hearing, okay, that is enough. All right, yes. And then the last thing I hear, like I see, is the countdown for Mario Kart, like before it's go time. They're like, beep, beep. I don't know if it's 3 or 4, but then it's like ding and you go. And also this concept of like, it looks like a stoplight, but all the lights are yellow except the last one is green. And this concept of like, you're not in the red zone right now. Like you're not stopped at a stoplight. When you're stopped at a stoplight, you can kind of like regroup, check self. You should still pay attention to traffic and stuff, but you kind of have a feeling of like when a stoplight turns on, you kind of have a feeling of how much time you have, right? You're not in that time. You are in like yellow zone of like, it's time to pay attention. You need to have your awareness around you because it's going to become green. And there was another reading here that's so funny. I wonder if it was 3 because I feel like 3 needed to bridge to 5. I don't think it was. There's another reading where it's like you're on the wrong side of the road. And I think in other countries, I'm in the US right now, in other countries, I think there's a place where lights turn yellow before they turn green. Here it's yellow and then red. I'm not sure if that's the thing. Actually, I want to look that up. But either way, yellow, 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 green. Yeah. It might be time to go. You're going to need to be paying attention and be ready for when it's time to go. All right. All that to be said, good change is upon us. And we're so excited for you. And the last thing I'm saying is like put your driving glasses on, right? Put your equipment on that's going to help you see distance right now and help you have enough information to like outline the details. When I was a teen and learning how to drive, I didn't really, I think it was like high school where I realized I kind of need, at that point in time, I needed glasses for distance to see really fine details. And I don't wear glasses now. I don't think I need them. I haven't had my vision checked to like see if it's correct, but like I can see all the detail that I need to far away. But when I was learning to drive, it was really helpful to have these glasses on because I wasn't used to looking at things that far out. You know, like I played sports, but all the sports I played were a lot closer than driving distance, you know? And this concept of giving yourselves the equipment and tools that you need to see things clearly in the field in which you're playing, right? Maybe it's a football field, maybe it's a tennis court, like maybe it's a racquetball court and it's even smaller than that, right? Like maybe it's snooker and it's really tight, right? But either way, give yourself the visual support that you need to have sharp clarity and discernment wherever you need to have that, right? In whatever field that you're in. And recognize that you will not always need this level of support, that it's something that it just helps to have all the support you can when you're doing something new, so that way you can take one more thing off of your mental load, right? So you can see more crisply and clearly. All right, this one is just going to be a long little groupie. That's okay. I'm going to let the images come in as they need to. All right, I have never played snooker before, but I knew someone who did, and I'm pretty sure that it looks like a pool table, but with like pins in it or like obstacles. Correct me if I'm wrong for sure, but let's go with this metaphor of like, okay, let's say snooker does have this. And so I'm going to describe what I'm looking at, even if this is wrong, but it's okay. It's right. Okay. Is like, it's like pool table and has a certain formation of obstacles or structures that are always part of the field. Like this, you are going to be playing on a field where there are always obstacles and structures in a certain place, in a certain way. Like if you're bowling, you always have the gutters on either side. Even if you have bumpers, you still have structures in place, right? And this dictates the rule of the sport. This dictates how the game goes. And to, instead of seeing these things as obstacles or things that are standing in the way of you and sinking the ball, right? Between you and getting a strike, right? You see them as tools, as boundaries. Boundaries help us feel safe. Fence lines can help us feel enclosed, and they can also help us delineate what is in our means of control and what is out of our means of control. And it is so important when you're doing new things and you're scaffolding into new areas that you put down the stuff that you don't need to be dealing with. It doesn't mean you'll put it down forever. It means you'll put it down right now. Okay? And that's a blessing, because as you build new skills, you need certain things off of your plate. Okay, my loves, I think that's it for this reading. I am going to go ahead and sign out. If you would like to stick around for the outro, I'd love to see you there. In love and light, I thank our masters, teachers, and loved ones for their information and guidance. Amen, amen, amen. The records are closed. Okay, y'all. The last thing I see is a closing of the book. But it's not like so in many languages, actually I don't know the ones. In many language you read how do I say this? Left to right. And so if you have a book with the spine down and the pages up, you progress through it left to right. And so often when you get to the end of the book, you take the right side of the book, the ending part of the book, and you flip it over that way. That's not what I saw. I specifically saw a book that you read left to right, but closing it so you can see the cover on top, right? So you don't see the back of the book, you see the front of the book. And what a beautiful reminder to all of us that you can play this game again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And it depends on how you close the book. Not that you can't flip the book over, right? But like, let's say you come to the end of the time, you come to the end of the story, you come to the end of the life. And when you close the book with the cover up, it's an invitation to begin again. And I'd like to ask you to decide, is this an experience that you'd like to begin again? Or are you ready for a new story? Are you going to close the book with the front facing up, where you can be tempted to just read it again? Or are you going to close the book with the back facing up, where you might see some info about the author or what people thought of the book, or things that can help point you into a new direction? All right, that's it, my loves. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Corinne. I am the shepherdess of Soulshift Channeling, which is the entity, which is the organization, the business, the concept, the brand, the point of alignment that I choose to interface and interact with people with in this channeling capacity. I work with people one-on-one. I work with people over the web, and I work with souls who are trying to come into alignment to claim their path and purpose in this world, so we all can come into greater alignment and find more ease and enjoyment and fun. I hear divertido, to have more fun, just living our lives, you know? I'm feeling proud of who we are and where we've been and where we're going and how we contribute and how we interact and respond and find people to hang out with and pass the time with. So, if you're interested in tuning into your alignment, if you are interested in your personal gifts, in your soul path, and mission, what you do already on this earth and planet. If you want to have more words around that, let's chat. I do these readings, but I also open up individuals' Akashic records or their soul records, where it's channeled info just like this, but all about you, even more specifically about you. Much love, many thanks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.